What is the difference between white and whole wheat flour and its impact on your baked goods? Welcome to episode 1 of But Why, where I explain the actual science behind why and how food works. And to start off, we're looking at flour. So, what makes the two flours different? Whole wheat flour includes the whole wheat grain, the bran, the endosperm, the germ, giving it the deeper color and enhancing its nutritional value, while white flour is only the endosperm of the grain, giving it the classic white color, but less nutritious. So how did I test this? From these two videos that I made one batch of mocha buns with 100% whole wheat flour and another batch with only 50% of whole wheat flour. They were both made with the same amount of ingredients, recipe, and method. There might be slight difference with the weather and humidity, but I have no control over that. Don't come at me with that. So here are my immediate reactions. One difference I immediately felt after baking the 100% whole wheat batch is the difference in the texture of the dough. I even mentioned it in my video, go check it out. I found that the dough was significantly stiffer than my normal white flour bread doughs, which reflected in a much harder and denser bun after baking. In the video, you can see that the dough looks a bit more dry and hard to knead. What I also found was that the first batch had much less crispier topping. You can see that the second batch has a much more thin and crispy top. The bun of the second batch with only 50% whole wheat flour was much more soft. My parents and I both agreed that we liked the second batch much better. Okay, now let's get scientific. So why was the whole wheat flour dough so much more stiffer? Because it actually absorbed more water, and it needs more water to reach the same level of hydration of white flour doughs. The higher water absorbance capacity of whole wheat flour is mainly because of the protein and damaged starch content. Because whole wheat flour contains the entire wheat kernel rather than just the endosperm, the addition of the bran and the germ boosts the protein content. Since the protein is able to absorb almost 2 times its weight of water, higher protein content means higher water absorption. Remember biology? Another attribute is the damaged starch content. So what is damaged starch? Damaged starch is the portion of the kernel starch that has been physically broken or fragmented during the wheat milling. During the milling process, the starch granules are crushed and damaged, creating damaged starch. This process releases amylose and amylopectin that are very hygroscopic, quickly attracting water. Compared to the undamaged starch, damaged starch can absorb from 0.3 to 3 times its weight in water. Specifically, the bran is rich in polymers called penosan. Penosans make up only about 1.5% of the flour composition, but it can absorb more than 10 times its weight in water because of the several water-binding enzymes within the polymer, making whole wheat flour very water absorbent. So what can we conclude? From this, we can know why whole wheat flour is a bit more complicated to deal with. The entire wheat grain, especially the bran, increases the water absorption of the bread, making a bit more tougher and chewier bread. For this reason, it is not recommended to substitute white flour and whole wheat flour on a 1-to-1 ratio in recipes, and to use a recipe specifically developed for whole wheat flour. Regardless, whole wheat flour is more nutritious than white flour and has a much more deep flavor, which I personally love, so don't be afraid to use it. So now you know the answer to the question,